Hello friends, welcome to my presentation. This is Global Citizen once again, and I have come up with a modified version of my previous presentation named Nepal soon to be a new colony for China. I have come up with this modified version, and I'm gonna talk about the rationale, the reasoning why I am saying that Nepal is soon to be a Chinese colony, a dominion of China. So friends, as I had already mentioned in my previous part 1, the reasoning of why Nepal is heading to be a new colony. So I have come up with more and newer rationale and examples that basically makes me believe that this is going to be a Chinese colony very soon in future. If this political dispensation, political discourse does not really change, Nepal is heading to be a Chinese client state very soon. So I'm going to recap some of the facts about other neighbor Nepal used to have before, and that neighbor is known as Tibet, but unfortunately I would like to remind my Nepali brothers and sisters, please do not forget the kind of fate and kind of oppression Tibet and Tibetan people had to go through ever since it was invaded and annexed by the Chinese Communist Party with the help of People's Liberation Army, who had already killed more than 8,000 Tibetan forces personnel, and who did not really have real arms and ammunition in possession, but they were killed. And under this duress, the Tibetan administration had to arrive at an agreement, 17-point agreement with the Chinese Communist Party, and that's how the Chinese Communist Party claimed that they have not annexed Tibet, but they have liberated Tibet. In addition to that, after that, the Chinese Communist Party did not really abide by the conditions of the agreement. Instead, they started deceitfully imprisoning the Tibetan administration's officials and all those big top leadership. And after that, they started destroying all their cultural, religious, and historical monuments, including those very important monasteries, ancient monasteries. They desecrated all those things, so that Tibetan will lose their civilization and their heritage. And in the wake of all these developments, Dalai Lama, 14th Dalai Lama, had to secretly flee to India to save himself and to save all those close aides of Dalai Lama. And subsequently, the Tibetan were forced to adapt to the Chinese culture, relinquishing their own traditions and heritage and cultural traditions. Simultaneously, the Chinese Communist Party started settling many Han Chinese in Tibet. The motive behind that was to change the demography of the entire Tibetan plateau. And after that, the Tibetan were forced not to follow their own rituals, their own traditions and cultural traditions and heritage, or like religious traditions at all. So this is the kind of operation. So the Chinese are very shrewd, basically they are very cunning in their approach. They don't want the world to know about what's going on, what's their agenda, and because this time the world is not the way it used to be back in 1950s or 1940s. Now we have access to social media. You have access to all the information through the social media, news, online, everything. So they have started creeping into Nepal, and they have begun to change, transform the Nepalese culture. And how they are doing it, they are doing it very slowly and slowly. They have made Chinese Mandarin language compulsory in school so that they can start influencing the young mind right from the very, very young age. And for that, they are being helped by academia, film industry personalities, media personalities in Nepal, all being influenced, totally under influence. Not all, but majority of them are being influenced by China. Actually, it's a part of espionage, and it's part of their strategy, how to how to intrude into the Nepalese culture, and that way they will transform the Nepalese culture into the Chinese one, and slowly they will forget about their own heritage, their own civilization, their own culture and traditions. And this is the very, very effective way of indoctrination. And this is being done by the Chinese Communist Party. So indoctrination for Chinese communism, and so that they can basically make Nepal a client state or a colony soon to be. And I would also give an example of that. Of course, this is kind of one of the examples of Chinese being taught in the school as per the newspaper's information. Okay, I would also give you a short clipping of one documentary that was done by New China, and it is basically, I'm going to play a short of the very short video clipping of this documentary here. Please listen to that and just understand. So this is the way, because they know they have a very, very tactful style of creeping into Nepal, and how they would be claiming the Nepalese territory. They will first indoctrinate the system, society, and then they will say it belongs to us. And this way, Nepalese society will lose its own civilization, its own heritage, its own traditions, cultural and historical traditions, and religious traditions as well. And I'm telling you, the very, very first way of indoctrinating the young mind is to make them learn their language, Chinese language, so that they will be more inclined towards China, not to their own culture. Okay, and a second example, I'm going to show you how they are creeping into society is the signages. If you see, there are signages Chinese, which are in Chinese, not in Nepalese at all. So what happens? There is only two different languages being used, one English and another one Chinese Mandarin language, and you will see it all throughout Kathmandu and many other parts of Nepal. So friends, the purpose of my presentation here is to give you an idea how they are getting into this Nepalese society, and they are basically showing, masquerading a face that they are here for the development, for the help of Nepalese brothers and sisters, but they're on the contrary, their agenda is very, very secret agenda, and that is the agenda of expansion and agenda of imperialistic expansion. So this is the way they are trying to influence the Nepalese society, to basically transform into a Chinese society. And another example of laying claim on Nepalese territory is kind of nibbling away slowly and slowly is the very recent tweet done by CGTN, Chinese Global Television Network. Okay, that according to that tweet, the Mount Everest, the highest peak in the world, Himalayan Mount Everest, is located in China, mainland China, and that is basically, this is the initiation, this is the beginning of such a claim. Okay, I will also talk about the areas that have been claimed or already nibbled away by China on the north of Nepal. So this is the tweet I'm going to show you. So this is the world's highest peak located in China's Tibet Autonomous Region. Of course, after they saw the reaction from Nepalese netizen as well as Indian netizens, they had to retract it earlier, but it still say on the border of China, on the China and Nepal border, not exactly that it is located in Nepal. So this is how. So friends, the main motive, main objective of mine here is to give an explanation to the people of Nepal as well as to the people of world community how China is trying to get into Nepal, and slowly, and they have a big time nefarious design to lay claim on the entire Nepal slowly and slowly. But of course they cannot do it right away, they will do it slowly and slowly. They have already laid claim on the part of Bhutan, they have laid claim on the part of other neighbors territories also, but they have also, in addition to that, they have also already captured a lot of territory on the north of Nepal Tibet border, and they are saying this is part of China. This is how they basically creep in. And as you already know, the Nepalese government is the communist government, which is totally a kind of puppet government and actually installed with the help of the Chinese Communist Party. And I can definitely guarantee that they seek for each and every advice to the Beijing, and Beijing is advising them what kind of actions they have to take. And as per their advice in the past, when they were just trying to build up their support base in Nepal in the early 2000s or late 90s, they have also started a village level communist volunteers branch, so that in these people, the communist volunteers will work as a vigilante or watchdog, and those people in the village or in the remote areas of Nepal, if they do not agree with the ideology of communism, then those people would be in trouble. And that is the kind of watchdog they have already deployed around 2 decades ago, and they are still working. And if you have different opinion, different beliefs, you will be in trouble, you will be silenced forever. And slowly you might see that there are more and more curves coming up in respect of social and civil liberty. So this is the clear sign that the Nepal is also heading towards one party system very soon. In addition to being a Chinese colony, it is also going to be heading to a one party communist system very soon, and they will impose curbs and sanctions and restrictions on all other political ideologies in Nepal. And please mark my word, they are going to happen if the political dispensation, political discourse does not really change in Nepal. And then the civil rights, human rights would soon be wiped off soon. And what else could be the very clear sign or very clear indication of the current Nepali government, which is the communist Nepalese Communist Party headed government, okay, is totally under the influence of Chinese Communist Party, because they did not bother to raise any objection or to raise any kind of questions to the Chinese media or to the Chinese government when CGTN tweeted for the Mount Everest being a part of China. This is the kind of irony these people are going through. I feel very sorry for my Nepalese brothers and sisters. So see, look at this. They have every sign in Chinese or English. No Nepalese language is being used here. I would also give you more examples how China starts nibbling away others' territories and what they have done in the past. I will talk about their neighborhood, immediate neighborhood, as well as some of the places far, far away from China mainland. So, recently in 2011, Tajikistan, which borders with the East Turkmenistan's area, which is known as Xinjiang province of China, okay, they had, because they were under debt from Chinese government, so they had to cede around 1,158 square kilometer of their territory to China. So you can very well imagine they will force you, once they basically put you into the debt trap, and then they will be forcing you to cede your territory to Chinese government. And in the Nepal, on the north side or central north side of Nepal and Tibet borders, they have already grabbed around 38 to 50 hectare of land which belong to Gurkha region. So this is the kind of thing, but Nepalese government is sleeping or is ignoring it outrightly, because they are totally under the influence of the Chinese government's policies, and they are entrapped, not only because of the debt or because of the so-called developmental fund being supplied by the Chinese government. No, it is because they are personally into trap, and that could be because of the wine, wealth, and women. So these are the reason, they would not say anything to China. Okay, and they have been trying to lay claim on Bhutanese territory, India, Cambodia, Vietnam, and Thailand as well. Forget about that Thailand or Cambodia. They are also like Brunei, which is way far away from the China mainland. So this is how they are laying claims on ocean. They are laying claim on the land. If they have power, they can lay claim on the air also. And in addition to that, they are creeping into other nations, other parts of the world, which is South Pacific, and such as in Solomon Island, Vanuatu, Fiji, etc. You can very well imagine how they are creeping into their lands also. And you know what? So similarly, this recent example of Mount Everest, but of course they retracted it. And in addition to that, I'm going to mention few very, very important traits that the Chinese Communist Party possess. And this I had, when I was doing some research, I had come across a documentary and some of the other information where it has been mentioned, and all these traits completely apply to the Chinese Communist Party, the Chinese regime. And these are deceit, incitement, fighting, robbery, unleashing of a scum of the society, espionage, elimination, and control. So friends, if you want to go through some of the more information, or you want to find some more details, you can go to these websites. I have listed few of those websites which I had done the research through, okay, and you can find more information about that. So I'm gonna talk about how they trap the countries into their debt. So debt trap diplomacy. what happens, they start giving loans to the countries they want to capture or they want to exploit in the name of development, and those loans are given on a very difficult terms. Okay, one of the terms would be like if they have given any kind of loan to construct a highway or construct a project or build a project, then they will have a very clear-cut condition. One of the conditions would be that for these kind of projects you will award at least 70% of these projects to the Chinese firms, and out of that at least 60 to 70% of the material should be procured from China mainland, and in addition to that they will have 50 to 60% of Chinese labor working on those projects. So what does it mean? It means not really any actual or real developmental activities happening for the country, where they have trapped the government or the authorities in the name of development. So it's a kind of debt trap. Okay, so on this picture they are showing the Chinese person standing there who is supervising, and the Chinese labor, Chinese material, Chinese firms are all engaged in all these activities. So now I'm going to show you another clipping by one of the television network, and I had taken this clipping from the net just for the sake of example, just for the sake of kind of fair use. Okay, and hope you will understand what exactly does it mean. So friends, I'm going to show you a short video clipping. It indicates, it basically clearly shows how Chinese authorities or Chinese firms exploit the host country's natural resources just for themselves, not for the local economies or local communities at all, but they masquerade a face of a friend in the name of development and in the name of investment, which is exactly the opposite of that. So first one is in Zambia, and that's about a copper mine which is being totally exploited by the Chinese.
Het blijft een van de vreemdste gewaarwordingen op dit continent.
How they are exploiting all the local traders. They have lost their businesses because Chinese traders have come in and they have infiltrated a lot of money, cash, and initially they will sell this stuff for lower prices, and then once the local businesses is gone, they are sold out to the Chinese traders. Then they will escalate the price, and then people have to buy the same stuff, same merchandise, same product, food or anything for a higher price, and only the Chinese traders who are taking the advantage, who are benefiting out of that, not the local community. So this is very shocking, very disappointing.
Lane highways without cars, schools with no pupils. In under 5 years, a Chinese company built Quilamba using Angola's oil credit lines with China. But parts of Quilamba feel like a ghost town.
Is Quilamba a vanity project?
Yes, maybe. We think that Quilamba is maybe a political project. The housing there is still very high in terms of cost, and I think there is a lot of difficulties to sell the apartments.
The government built Quilamba to try drive down prices. With petro billions flowing into this former war-torn country, expats have poured into downtown Luanda, pushing prices to eye-watering levels. A shabby flat can cost you
or to the host country at all. So what I'm saying is that it's a kind of deception in the name of development, and deception is very well marketed and sold out to the host country. The people think, host country think that these Chinese people are trying to help us, and they are going to improve the economy, local economy, as well as improve the livelihood, these conditions, work and the living conditions of the locals there. But it's a kind of totally a deception and nothing else, because all the investment that comes in the form of loan. Very small amount of that investment would be in actual form, and Chinese bring their own labor, their own material, so not really attributing to any local economy or any kind of benefits to the local government or the host country. There is no real opportunity at all. Okay, and China exploits all the natural resources of these host countries, and takes the raw material from these countries back to China, and then makes the finished good, and then sell finished goods in the host country from where it has taken all the raw materials. And slowly those even Chinese traders will replace the local traders, and then everybody is dependent on the Chinese trader. And first they will sell it for cheaper price so that the local businesses cannot sustain that kind of competition. And then once they take over all the local businesses, then they will increase the price, and they will import most of such which used to be locally produced. All those products, all those produced will be exported from China, and local language would soon be replaced by the Chinese language, and that way killing the native language forever. So friends, why am I telling all these things? I'm telling you there is a tilt in the Nepalese politics, and this tilt is because of many reasons, and most of these reasons are very evil reasons. The Chinese Communist Party uses all the tactics, all the by hook or by crook, to influence or to trap the important influential personalities of any country they want to colonize, or they want to trap in their debt trap. Okay, as per their debt trap politics or diplomacy. They are also using wine, wealth, and women. What have you been noticing in Nepal? The current ambassador, Chinese ambassador to Nepal, who is a young woman, and she is basically casting a spell on each and everyone. She is using everyone. She is trying to influence everyone, and it looks like many of these politicians, including the senior bureaucrats as well as the chief of the army staff, Nepali army staff, they seem to be working in tandem with the Chinese ambassador. And why? Because I'm sure many of these politicians, many of these bureaucrats, film, media personalities, academia, they have been trapped using wine, wealth, and human, and now they are acting exactly as per the script written by the Chinese Communist Party. Okay? They masquerade a face of friend, but they are not really friends. They tell the common Nepalese citizen that they are here to help Nepal develop. It's absolutely incorrect, and I'm sure my Nepalese friends and brothers would definitely understand it very soon. If they do not change the political discourse right now, I'm sure you are heading to be enslaved by China. Okay? Don't fall trap to the proposed development by China in billions of dollars. They are basically not really true. Okay, they are putting you in a debt trap and nothing else. Okay, and you can see Prime Minister Oli, what is this? Just like someone in Indian politics, the Jawaharlal Nehru, who had a kind of concubine, a kind of lover, who was the wife of the Governor General of India. After India got freedom from British rule, Okay, so this is, I think, exactly the same way this woman is acting. She has tapped many Nepalese politicians, or who knows how many of those influential academia or influential news as well as film personalities, to have everything influenced by the Chinese Communist Party, and it will definitely lead to a divide between India and Nepal, who have been linked together as one soul, historically, traditionally, culturally, religiously, for thousands and thousands of years. And this is going to cause a lot of problem, and I'm sure it will cause big problem for the Nepali citizens. So what could be the other geopolitical repercussions of such influence, Chinese influence in Nepal? I'm sure Nepal will definitely become a client state of China, and slowly, once the Chinese traders take over the Nepalese business, likelihood of common Nepalese will be annexed by Chinese in future very soon. And it will also lead to complete desecration of Hindu and Buddhist culture in Nepal, which has been there for thousands of years, and like many other countries such as Sri Lanka, Tajikistan, and even Maldives, or when you had to Fiji, they will have to give away their own assets or their own lands. And Nepal would likely to lose its sovereignty soon, and its identity at whatsoever identity it has. So I'm warning my Nepalese brother and sister, wake up, please wake up. Somebody may ask me, why am I bothered about this? I'm bothered about this because I have a deep link, deep root with the Nepali civilization, Nepali culture and heritage, which is my heritage, also part of my heritage also, and as well as my Sanatan Dharma heritage and culture. It is also deeply interlinked. We are intertwined with the Nepalese society for thousands and thousands of years, in time immemorial. So please do not let this happen, and wake up and throw this government out of power. I'm telling you, this government is totally a puppet government. So friends, if you have any feedback or you have any comment to make, I will really appreciate your feedback on my comment section. I would really appreciate if you can also give me a thumbs up if you have liked or you have kind of enjoyed part of this video presentation. Please give me a thumbs up, and I will also be appreciating if you can subscribe to my video presentation channel. Look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much.